less than 7 days, 3 new clients came to us after receiving the CP162A notices from the IRS. Now, I know that's a mouthful, and I'm going to explain it actually because I have the client notes with me here. But what's a Form 162A, and what are you supposed to do if you have received this form from the IRS? Now, a Form CP162A means that the IRS has assessed that a partnership or an S corporation filed its tax return late, or the business failed to file electronically when electronic filing was required. And this notice actually states the penalty that is owed, the reason why that penalty was charged, and the deadline for responding or paying it. So if you missed to file your return in years prior to 2025 and filed them together with your 2025 return, then this video is specifically for you. Now let me explain, because I told you guys that I have my client notes with me here. We have a client, and I won't give the real name of this client, though he has given me consent to do that. But let us call this client Boaz, right? So Boaz operated a partnership business, and this partnership business started in mid-2024. But the first client that this business received came in late 2024. Actually, the first client came in December 2024. And because for most of the entire year, the business was not operational, and the first client came at the end of 2024, then Boaz did not see the need of filing business returns for that year. Actually, what he did is he reported the business expenses on his Form 1040. Back to my client Boaz, right? So Boaz, like I mentioned, Boaz owned a partnership business. Him and his partner, this was the first year that they were operating the business. The business was not operational for most of 2024. The first client has come into the business at the late of 2024, actually in December 2024. And because the business was not operational for most of the year, and the first client came actually towards the end of the year. So what they did is they went ahead and filed their individual tax returns. But like I mentioned on the beginning of this video, the business was a partnership. Now fast forward to 2025. This client comes to us and tells us that he wants to file his taxes. And we ask him, and did you file your taxes in 2024? And he says, yes, I filed them on my Form 1040. In fact, let me send you the copy of the Form 1040 that I have with me here. And so we go through the Form 1040, and we can see that the Form 1040 has a Schedule C. And of course, the first question that you ask the client is this business a sole proprietorship? And if they don't understand what that is, you just tell them, how many people own this business? And the answer that we got was very, very interesting. He tells us that I started this business with my friend. So it's an LLC, but it's a multi-member LLC. And of course, there's a mistake right there. A multi-member LLC is taxed as a partnership by the IRS. So the required form that was supposed to be used to report the business income was a Form 1065. And so obviously the next question that we ask the client is, where is your Form 1065 that you use to report the business income in? And he tells us that my accountant only asked me for business, for proof of income and expenses during that year, and they were reported on this same Form 1040. We ended up having a consultation session with the client and advised him that you cannot report a partnership income on Form 1040. So what we have to do is we have to amend this 2024 Form 1040 and remove that Schedule C from there and report the partnership's income and expenses on a separate form called Form 1065. And since we are amending these returns in 2026, filing his 2025 return, that means that when the IRS received this Form 1065 that reported income for the year 2024, what they did is they calculated failure to file penalties. And this is where this video becomes very relevant. So what we are doing for clients who have received these notices from the IRS and they qualify for the abatement of those penalties, because I want to be very honest with you and very candid with you guys that not all penalties can be waived. So that's why we have to review your taxes first. We have to review that notice first. We have to conduct a thorough client interview with you and understand what happened until we came to a point where the IRS is sending you this kind of notice, the CP162A. So what is happening is that we are filing abatement forms for clients who qualify for the waiver. And it's not only the form that is being filed, but we have also to mail the necessary and required documents or forms that are required by the IRS so that they can assess and waiver that penalty. Now, we have already completed this form for 2 clients, and the remaining client actually has penalties amounting up to $23,000. And we're still in the process of filing an abatement form for him and walking him through the steps to see that these penalties are waived. So, have you received these CP162 notice from the IRS and you're panicking there? Maybe they have hit you with 23,000 in taxes, like our latest client, and you're wondering how you're even supposed to come up with these amounts. So if you've been hit with this notice, kindly reach us out at careerbooks.com and book a consultation with us. And what we will do is that we will review the notice that was sent to you. We will review the taxes that are in question or the year that you failed to file your taxes. And then we will advise you accordingly. And then we will walk you through the next steps to have that penalty waived. Once they receive the forms, once they assess the situation, and once they see that you qualify for the abatement of the penalties, then those penalties will be waived. And they'll tell you that don't file the wrong form again. They don't do this twice.